Okay, so let's dive in. We've been watching this big shift, haven't we? Moving from that initial tech infrastructure phase,
Yeah.
what many of you know as OES and O-Connect,
Right.
into
Yeah.
something completely new. And it has a name now, Victory with Ash.
Exactly. And what's really striking about this deep dive, I think, is the source material itself. We're looking at excerpts from Victory with Ash, building a purpose-driven community.
Attributed to Red Redfern, yeah.
And it's almost entirely philosophical, very different from our usual tech breakdowns.
It really is. It feels like they're deliberately saying, hold on with the tech specs for a moment. Let's talk culture. Let's talk about the people.
Yeah, they're making a bold claim that the community is the core product, that guiding principle they cited in O News 18. It sums it up. Together, we are creating something extraordinary, a vibrant, purpose-driven community built on optimism, cooperation, and shared success.
And just so everyone's clear on the timeline, we looked.
Yep.
And there are 0 new technical updates mentioned here. No Connect news, no OES tweaks.
Nope. It's all about the vision, the why.
Which leads us straight to, well, the big question hanging over this source, doesn't it? They spent 2 years asking people to be patient through a massive internal shift.
A very long transition.
So how does that history, that slowness, frankly, suddenly flip into the kind of organizational speed and market disruption they're now promising?
Yeah.
That seems like a core tension here.
It absolutely is. And I think to unpack that, we first need to get a handle on what they mean by this vibrant, purpose-driven community. What's the definition according to the source?
Okay.
Well, they break it down into maybe 3 key parts. First, it's a group united by shared values, a clear mission. Second, the focus is really on collective success, not just me winning, but us winning.
Right, the shared outcome.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And third, it's deliberately built on optimism, collaboration, and mutual support. That's the foundation they're laying out.
Okay, but lots of groups, especially online businesses, look up shared values, right?
Yeah.
Is purpose-driven here just, nice branding, or is there something operationally different they're pointing to?
They argue it is operationally different. And the key, they say, is the ethical standard. They seem very keen to draw a line between themselves and, let's say, more cutthroat online ventures.
How so?
Well, the speaker in the source material really praised the members, called them good, upstanding, normal people who want better lives, but, and this is crucial, ethically. They stressed not succeeding at someone else's expense.
This is a strong claim. Noble, definitely. But how do you actually make that stick? How do you turn that aspiration into, like, actual rules of engagement so it's not just good intentions?
That's where it gets more concrete. They've formalized it. These shared values aren't just concepts, they're embedded in a formal code of conduct.
Ah, okay. A code of conduct.
Yes. And this is meant to be the backbone, legally and behaviorally, for how people operate within this new Victory with Ash structure. It suggests they're really prioritizing that ethical fit during the onboarding, maybe even over just getting huge numbers in quickly.
Which brings us to the community's history, because that ethical core, like you said, it wasn't built overnight. The source really emphasizes the resilience here. These members apparently stood by each other for 2 full years, showing incredible patience, positivity, through what the source keeps calling the long transition period.
And just for context, that's the period, essentially, from when the OES system first had its launch challenges, right up until this formal Victory with Ash phase kicked off.
2 years is, well, it's a significant ask for any online community.
Yeah.
Especially with uncertainty.
It is, and that loyalty, that's sticking it out, is now being framed almost as a badge of honor, like proof of commitment to these ethical principles before they were even fully codified.
So the wait itself becomes a filter, in a way.
That seems to be the implication. If you waited, you align with the values. And that shared struggle, that patience, it creates this really powerful sense of belonging. Deepens the purpose,
Okay, I see the logic, but I have to push back a little. 2 years of resilience. Yes, that's commendable for the members. But couldn't it also just be seen as, well, organizational inefficiency, delay? How does the source square that history of needing patience with these sudden claims of being market leaders and super disruptive now?
That's the crux, isn't it? And this is where the speaker brings in a really potent analogy, maybe even a controversial one. To explain the intensity of this bond, this loyalty, they compare it to their own background in the Army and the fire service.
Wow, okay. High-stakes comparison.
Extremely. Places where teamwork, trust, it's literally life and death. The message is pretty clear.
Yeah.
The dedication they expect here isn't your typical business commitment. It's more akin to, well, first responder loyalty.
That is powerful. But Does it risk sounding manipulative? I mean, comparing an online business community to firefighters? Or do they argue there's a genuine operational parallel in the level of commitment needed?
They definitely argue for the operational parallel. The claim seems to be that the intense loyalty built during the wait is precisely the cultural groundwork needed for the speed they plan later.
Ah, I see. So the delay was actually necessary prep time.
That's the narrative. They
Yeah.
needed 2 years to build the internal trust, the cohesion, so that when they do move externally, they can move incredibly fast because everyone's perfectly aligned. Instant coordination, because the trust is absolute.
Okay. That makes the transition from philosophy to strategy clearer. It's not just about believing the right things, it's about doing them. And the onboarding itself is part of the training.
Exactly. Members aren't just getting access, they're actively learning how to build their own smaller circles of community.
Little hubs within the larger structure.
Right. How to foster that same collaborative spirit locally and how to help their people grow within the bigger vision. It's about replicating the structure downwards.
And the source mentions the scale of this.
Yeah, it says thousands of these small community groups are forming, all interconnected, part of this larger movement. So it's a very deliberate, almost fractal approach. Distribute leadership, distribute responsibility before the main business training even starts, like creating thousands of mini CEOs.
That distributed model, it leads to the question of timing for those still waiting, people who aren't in those smaller circles yet. What's the message for them? Does the source offer any reassurance?
Definitely. The leadership seems very focused on managing expectations there. They keep stressing that the onboarding is strategic and gradual. The phrase, "no one will be left behind," comes up.
Okay, so completeness over speed, for individuals anyway.
Seems so. And the timeline is explicit. The real fun, which they define as the structured training and full system activity, won't pick off until most people are onboarded.
That makes sense strategically. You want everyone at the starting line together for maximum impact.
Exactly. Launch with a critical mass, all trained, all ready to go synchronously. And they also emphasize that this gradual process isn't just top-down. They claim communication is open, respectful, and that the CEO is actually listening to feedback from the members and, acting on it, adjusting things based on what's happening on the ground, building that feedback loop in.
Which brings us to the ultimate vision here. This isn't just positioned as a business, is it? They keep calling it a movement.
Far beyond a typical company, yes. The framing is that members are co-creating something bigger, a better future, more meaningful, aiming for freedom, prosperity, positive change.
And does that ambition extend beyond the members themselves?
Oh, absolutely. That's a key point. The
Mhm.
focus explicitly includes humanitarian and global good, helping others, locally and globally. It's presented as a core part of the mission, not just an afterthought.
So it's not just about profit.
They insist it's not just about profit. The idea seems to be that the ethical code of conduct applies externally too. The wealth generated should be used for positive impact, globally.
And they seem pretty confident this whole approach, the patience, the ethics, is already making waves externally. What are they claiming about their impact now, especially regarding that paradox of unity and speed?
The claims are, well, they're big. They're saying they are already breaking records, surprising industry partners. Why? Because of their unity and speed of action.
So the internal cohesion, the thing that took 2 years to build,
Is supposedly translating directly into rapid, unexpected external moves right now. That's the argument. They're positioning themselves as disruptors, not through some revolutionary gadget, but through unprecedented organizational solidarity.
like they've cracked a code for collective action online.
That's the feeling. They believe they're pioneering a totally new model. The source literally says, and I'm quoting here, "We are trailblazers breaking the mold of what online communities and businesses can be."
Setting a very high bar for themselves.
Immensely high, suggesting that maybe, just maybe, organizational culture itself is the next big disruptive technology in business.
So to wrap this up for you listening, the big takeaway seems to be that this whole victory with Ash phase is fundamentally built on, well, patience. 2 years of it, resilience, and this deep commitment to an ethical approach, all baked into that code of conduct.
Right. And the message from the leadership consistently is, stay patient, stay calm, trust this process. It's all part of a plan. And once everyone's onboarded, then the real fun, the training, the full implementation kicks off for everyone together.
Okay, which brings us right back to that central puzzle we identified at the start. If this whole VWA structure needed 2 years of slow, careful, strategic patience to build its ethical foundation, to condition the culture, That suggests its strength lies in being deliberate, maybe even slow, internally.
Yet, they claim they're already surprising partners with unprecedented speed of action externally. So the provocative thought to leave you with is this. What's the actual mechanism? What specific strategy, maybe hinted at or maybe still hidden, allows them to instantly convert 2 years of internal patience into market-shaking external speed? What's that secret ingredient connecting the deliberate wait to the claimed rapid execution? That feels like the key thing to watch as this unfolds.